Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. We have a gameplay POV. Well, it's not even a POV. It's really just a gameplay
Our point of
commentary
view
here.
of the
Our
gameplay.
point of view, exactly. So this is going to be Lexi versus Uzuri, and today I'm joined, as always, by my co-creator, co-commentator, co-caster, co-compatriot Rob.
Hello.
We are doing the co-commentating part. It's not Erica. I know it just happens to say commentary Erica below him.
Yeah.
He is indeed Rob. He did not get a name change to match my name. That is
Mm,
just how it is. So this is interesting because this is actually the first calling one we're doing. So we have two calling matchups that we're going to do commentary on, and the first one is going to be this Uzuri Lexi here. So going into week 3 of 3 for the road season for most of the region, I think the majority of the region, at least for the Americas region, going into week 3 here. This is a matchup I expect to see a fair amount of, especially. I think people will still be playing Oldham, of course, but I think Uzuri
hmm
is gaining popularity. We are going to put more
Yeah.
Uzuri on the channel, of course. Different builds to Uzuri. This is Sebastian Kleiner's Uzuri. Sebastian did obviously runner up this event, so clearly a fairly good Uzuri player. And we're going to kind of see why everyone is saying Uzuri is favorable into Lexi. We're going to see how true that is, and if it's just a smash or is a more of a
hmm
slog here. So I believe his deck list is it's not like mimicking Tao Tao's list. It's not like some heavy contract fatigue list. More of a hybrid list, so it does have some kind of spicier cards that probably expect to see cards like Yellow Death Touch, which is one of the more unique additions that he had to the list. I quite like. I mean, my very first Uzuri build was on 9 Death Touches. I'm a very
Yeah.
big
It's a
fan
good
of Death
card. I
Touch
know
as a
you
card.
you hyped that card up a lot, and for good
Yeah,
reason because
especially with Uzuri, like it's just a good card in Uzuri, straight up.
just shove it out, and your opponent has to deal with it, or they get
Yeah.
frailty for most cases, I guess. Blood rot in some. Yeah.
Yeah, a one for five at yellow is just good, right? I think the only reason like the downside was the two block kind of thing scenario. So we're going to see how much that actually matters. It's probably not really sure if it's in his sideboard and his main board. I would assume it's in his sideboard, but I could be wrong. So we're
hmm
going to see how this goes on here. So we
Yep.
can
You can roll the
start off the
video,
video here.
and this is
Yeah, we see.
the quarterfinals
Yeah,
of the calling,
quarterfinals,
just to point
top
that
eight.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quarterfinals of top eight. I don't know who's what as far as seed goes.
Right.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Mm.
we're gonna assume that Lexi usually just wants to go second. So if we see Lexi going first, it's probably safe to think that Azuri probably chose for Lexi to go
Have the
first.
choice, yeah.
I would assume so. Equipment wise, we do see Snapdragon scalers on Azuri's side, so not the
Oh,
contract. I just call them the contract boots. Okay, the looks like Lexi is going first here.
Lexi's going first, so likely lost the
Like,
coin. Not the coin flip, but was lower seed.
no, lost
Yeah.
the seating. Yeah, lost the seat. I think Sebastian was pretty high on the seating, if I remember here. He did pretty well. So we're going to see Lexi going first. So that being said, with the Snapdragon scalers, it is important to note because he isn't on that like reoccurring. So he might just have like less contract in the list. Might be a more aggressive style. Snap's definitely nice for that automatic go again. Like you don't really, it's unconditional as
Yeah.
opposed to the as opposed to the assassin boots, right? So
Yeah.
Lexi pretty standard, just going for your 6 card setup. You don't really
It's
you
as
don't
if you're
really
going
want to.
second here.
Yeah, you don't really want to be letting Azuri filter. Like a lot of Azuri hands are like less than ideal. It's not like one of those aggro decks where like all your hand, like the majority of your hands are built to go second. I think Azuri is kind of somewhat in the middle because a lot of your hands could just be like dagger contract, swap Azuri, play whatever disruption.
Yeah.
Now, Azuri does play a whole lot of arsenal targeting cards, right? So you have CNCs, you have the
Um,
Raging Onslaught Yellow. That's not the card I thought I was about to say. I was about to say Leave No Witnesses, but
Leave no witnesses. That's
uh,
the one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think Raging Onslaught must just be a yellow 3 block that comes in for 6. So it's essentially the equivalent of Tao Tao's kind of rationale that like it's a popper, it blocks for 3.
Yeah.
That's really the only
It
use
was
case
seen
scenario
in
for these
Prism
cards.
as well. I know Prism played it. It was a decent
Yeah.
yellow that blocked for three.
Yeah. And it's it's a popper. Dromai is going to get more popular in the meta. I think without the Oldhim too is quite interesting. We do see
Popular.
just like a CNC. My God. Come on, Erica, you can do better than that. So we
Erica.
see this. So we see the CNC coming out here. So Spider's Bite did hit, which is super nice because now your arrows block for 2 and you have CNC coming at you. I mean, I think
Yeah.
as a Lexi player, I don't think you usually are going to block Spider's Bite, even if you
Of
you
course.
just don't
Your
really know
armor
CNC
doesn't
is coming,
block.
right?
A single card obviously will not do it for a spider's bite because when something big comes out after, you kind of
Yeah,
want to have your card anyway. Like the
correct.
-1 is not worth the card you give for it, I think.
Oh, triple card block. Interesting you see the Uzuri pitch. It looks like Sync Sync. So that hand would have been super dead in the water without that CNC. It would have been like Raging Onslaught,
Oh, is
Sync
that
Below,
Sync
some
Sync? I didn't
random
even
card.
notice that. Yeah.
I think it looked like double Sync Below.
Okay.
So his hand would have been super
It's
dead. Imagine if he like you drew like Codex of Frailty or something. His hand's super dead
nuts.
in the water. Like he has no targets.
That's
Luckily,
why he protected the arsenal. Yes, yes.
yeah, three of a kind is you are able to draw three cards. So it's kind of if nothing happened here because he
Yeah.
still has three cards in his hand and you
And
just pitch
you
one.
kind of mentioned that three of a kind is fine on a low card hand because it's as if you get your cards back, and
Mhm.
most times you can't play everything anyway. So it's okay,
Sure.
totally fine to block and then play with three of a kind just to regain some tempo.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know what Sebastian's main game plan is, right? Because Zuri, especially on heavier contract builds, are slower and can play to a somewhat fatiguey game state where you're just all your cards block for three, you're just coming in 0 for 4, you're doing that kind of style. Sebastian has the snaps. I'm assuming that's not what his play is. I think that play style is better with like higher contract, more silver generation to get
Mm,
your boots back, and you'd be
yeah,
on Mask of Perdition. He is on Crown
right,
of Providence.
right.
So I'm gonna hazard that he's actually probably just gonna be running at him with the more mid-rangey disruptive build. So just a
Yeah,
lot of you got leaves, CNC, surgicals,
surgicals.
shakedown, shakedown,
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah,
codex of frailty to get all that shit back, right? So you're just
yeah,
trying to
right,
like disrupt as much as humanly possible.
yeah.
So that's
And
kind of what I
to me,
figure
that
he's
makes a lot
doing.
of sense into Lexi, the premier aggro deck, really
It
the format
does.
right now.
Yeah, fatiguing Lexi as not old him is very, very
Mm.
difficult because Lexi's 6 card hands off like rain or double rain are just like
Yeah, you're
you're
leaking
doomed.
damage regardless. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice that Uzuri does have one thing that Lexi doesn't, which Oldham doesn't, which is that frailty trap, right? So that
Hmm.
allows you to do a whole lot of work on big Lexi turns. So
Oh
that is
yeah.
one thing that Uzuri does have
Yeah, that's true.
going for her. So
Lexi does have that weakness where everything has to be played from Arsenal. So if you can weaken the
correct.
arrows, you're good to go.
Yeah, that frailty trap could like on a triple arrow turn is actually blocking three and
Hmm.
then 4 5 6 on triple arrow 1 1 1, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is something that Azuri has. Even in the mid range build, you're definitely going to be throwing those in, especially with these and the defense reactions, right? So we do see just infecting shot.
Yeah.
Looks like 2 red ones. So had a double block. See Crown of Providence and Wither blocking the first one.
Hmm.
Sebastian thinking about the second one. I think he did crown a card away.
It's
Is it he didn't get an arsenal the turn one because he had to pitch his 2 reds for the
okay.
CNC, so he wasn't able to like
Yeah, I was wondering if it was the
place it.
Arsenal, but I think you're right. Yeah, there was
No,
no
I
Arsenal.
think he had to pitch. He had to pitch the double red because he pitched the yellow spiders, but pitched red. So it looks like he's taking the blood rot here, which is
Mm.
fine. So he's keeping what 3 cards in hand? Yeah, he's keeping 3 cards in hand.
He blocked one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfectly all right. Zuri does run a fair amount of blues, so there's
Surgical
one of them.
being one of
Surgical.
them.
He's
Yeah.
coming in
The
with
scalpel.
the yeah, scalpel for reactions. Don't know how many reactions Lexi's actually running in this matchup.
It used to be
I
light. No, lightning press wasn't even a reaction. That was an instant. So
No, that was an instant.
yeah, you
Well,
wouldn't
the
even
only
have that.
D-react I can think of is Tar Pit Trap. Now, Tar Pit Trap seems a little. It seems. It actually seems okay in this matchup because when you use Tar Pit Trap, it triggers off Go again, right? So if they do a
Hmm.
dagger, you Tar Pit Trap, it means your next on hit won't trigger. So what you do is you could block the first dagger and be like cool, and then if they CNC you, CNC's effect doesn't do anything.
Right.
Leave Note Witness effect doesn't do anything. Death Touch doesn't do anything, and that's really like Azuri's game plan. So
Yeah. Yeah. If you
I'm
block the
actually
on
like,
hits, there's no disruption really.
yeah, and so I'm actually curious to know how much Glenn here, the Lexi player. I don't know how many tar pits he's running, or if he's on tar pits. Some Lexis like all three, some like two, some like none.
Yep.
Not particularly sure, but we do see this magical card called Codex of Frailty in all
Beautiful
its
card.
glory. Yeah, Marvel's quite nice too. So
Hmm.
we're seeing just why Codex is good because you can just be like,
Just get
what's
back
up?
your CNC.
Here's this CNC. You have enough blues. Then you're gonna get your Ponder, so it refreshes itself. So you're still gonna have your Arsenal card.
Hmm.
Having 6 CNCs a game is quite nice, and both of these decks are able to run the Codex, but Lexi doesn't always even doesn't always like CNC as much into this matchup. But
Yeah. Absolutely, and there are no cards that Lexi really needs to get back besides maybe Endless Arrows would be a good choice.
Getting the arrows back is fine. Yeah, getting your endless or even one for like heat seekers
Yeah,
are
but
pretty
nothing as
decent. But
impactful as getting back three CNCs. Like it makes a lot more
free CNCs
a
is good.
much bigger difference in decks that try to like stop Lexi in her tracks, and
Hmm.
CNC is a the monster of a card that you would want to get back. So it kind of makes
Yeah,
fighting Lexi a lot easier if you can get that card back that often, right?
it is true. We just see the three of a kind get popped out of the arsenal here. That was the card that.
So double
That's
three
the
of a
second
kind.
three of a kind.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little
that's
unlucky there.
a little. Yeah, because the spider's bite hit, so like
It might have been a
blocking
draw off the
doesn't seem that
first three
great.
of a kind, maybe. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
remember
possible.
what
Yeah.
was pitched, but it's possible. Yeah.
Well, he just pitched the blue, and then he load
And
infecting shot. So he must have pitched one more card because that would cost
hmm,
you four to load both of them and fire both of
true,
them, right? So
true.
something else must have been pitched there. But that's neither here nor there. We have a
Drill
looks like a
shot.
blue drill. Looks like a blue drill shot. No,
This
a
should be a
yellow drill
red.
shot.
It's a red because it was
Oh, the frailty.
reduced by
Got
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Forgot about the frailty
Thank
there.
goodness
Yeah,
for
yeah. Cooks
these
a frailty.
prompts on the side where it shows the actual
Yeah.
card. That helps so much. I love that. Also, they're
True.
doing
So
really
we
well
did
with their
see.
tokens and their attack values. That's A plus.
Yeah, yeah. You see the non. You see the official ones there. The pitch dice. It's like the
Yeah.
ones that we have too. But then they're using
Hey.
these other ones here.
Yeah.
Um.
And I like the
So
lightning
that's
bolt for a go again. I assume.
yeah. So this is interesting. So he just took the three -1 going on the tunic. And then we see a withering shot, which is interesting. Very good in this particular scenario because it also hits the daggers, right?
Yep.
Red withering shot, not so it looks like it's +1 -1 because of the frailty. So
Right.
loads
No go
Voltaire
again.
+1 and -1. No go again. I guess he could snaps it,
Yeah, but with
but he
one
has no
card left
Voltaire,
and
so yeah,
one pitch
no Voltaire
though.
triggers. No Voltaire trigger though. So like he
Oh,
loaded
no
twice
Voltaire
already.
trigger. That's right. You got to
You'd have to
process it.
bullseye this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
you'd have
worth
to
it.
bullseye this. Yeah, so it looks like the nourishing emptiness and another three blocks. It looks like because withering shot's pretty good into these decks. So I think it's probably the first time I've seen, maybe not the first time I've seen red withering shot. Not the most standard
Yeah,
arrow. It might
it's
be more standard
definitely a
now that
sideboard card.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of it targeting Uzuri, like more like Wither, because now that eventually Oldham will be out of the meta right after July
Yeah,
4th or whatever officially, right? So I'm not surprised to see some decks, Lexi decks, starting to, the eventuality that you're gonna need these cards that just are not purely Oldham targets,
yeah.
right? They're just like good
Ultim
for aggro
rotating out is
decks.
gonna change so many decks. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know more, feel free to check out our video that we just recorded about it.
Yep.
So this nourishing emptiness is doing a whole lot of just 6 because he's got
Yep.
a nourishing
He's
emptiness
got
sitting
another
right in the
nourishing in there.
graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nourishing that emptiness right here. But the
Yeah.
problem is that I think 6 vanilla just goes straight to the bank, and Lexi's gonna be like,
Lexi's
let it,
happy.
let it, let it. Oh, Lexi's very happy. 6 vanilla. 6 vanilla as Uzuri kind of feels like swinging a Nothos like Bravo in this matchup.
True.
You never want to be swinging a Nothos in this matchup if you can help it. You always want to be throwing like crush effects at them, right?
Yeah.
Spinal crush, crippling crush, whatever crush. So
Absolutely.
it might be. What's the Lexi flip here? Third three of a kind. That's this early too.
3 for 3. Truly a three of a
Okay.
kind.
Okay. So 24 to 30. I think the game's still pretty even. Now, this third three of a kind, I'm curious if he's actually going to fire it or he's just going to flip it, fire 2 arrows, and then try to set up a 6-card hand.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that, like, Sebastian still has codexes to get CNCs back. He still has CNCs, period. He still has ways to target the arsenal. So
Right.
it's not like it's like free.
Do,
Like
do
it's not like
you
a deck that.
do you risk it? Do you keep it in there hoping for a big hand, or do you
Yeah.
get disrupted? And my gut tells me that he will get disrupted because Uzuri didn't do much the last turn. So there's a
Mhm.
chance he gets something that will target the arsenal.
Looks like the searing touch. Sorry, searing shot is gonna
Searing
hit there. Let's go
shots.
again. Yeah, so it's gonna hit for 5, 4+1 there. The 1 health reduce, of course, and we see another arrow for 5. Looks like Bolton's shot.
Yeah, so you could
Red.
get a reload here, which would be the dream because one floating means you can probably play. Oh no, you can't even reload because there's an arsenal. I believe
Yeah, you need an
it
empty
has to be
arsenal.
empty, so there's no real threat. You can't really instant out the three of a kind to play it, in a tricky way. So this is likely going to be
Yeah,
just a regular vanilla 5 with nothing attached, really.
yeah. I can't imagine Sebastian really I'm
playing three of
respecting
a
this much
kind.
because
Oh, yeah.
no, oh sorry, like especially on the Uzuri side, I can't really see him
Sorry.
block
Yeah.
like full blocking this, but
Oh, that's a very nice ender. Yeah,
red,
that's a
red
way to
architecture.
protect your three of a kind, I think, because you can't
Hmm.
really scalpel here and play something like a CNC, especially with those
Correct.
blocks. I think Sebastian might have only two cards in hand plus Arsenal at this point.
He didn't block the Searing. He blocked with one card, so he
One
must
card.
have three cards left,
Okay,
I guess.
so I guess
He does have Tunic up
technically
though.
possible. Yeah,
He's gonna pitch six.
yeah. Was that six? Yeah, it was. Yeah,
It looks like six.
play.
He's yeah
So
paying for
he had the
two, so
blue to
he's got
pay
one
this out.
floating.
So
Yeah,
not
so
much
it's his
loss there. Yeah.
his 5 cost dagger, just
Yeah, man.
coming in the deep end.
I mean,
So
he can tunic out a CNC now.
he could also use the one pitch for one of his 6 death touches from the arsenal. Like it could
Yeah,
literally be.
yeah. There's
You know what would
potential
be
here.
you know would be great. If his tunic is on 3, which I think it is. You
Yeah.
use the one for the death touch, give it go again with snaps, and codex in another death touch, throw the second one at him, and then
Oh
just keep
man.
trying to fire frailties. Because like you really don't want a 3 of a kind under a frailty, let
No,
alone 2
no.
frailties, right? So it's kind of like a suit. It's not CNC, but
Mm.
it's just like it's still pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. It would
Um,
definitely delay the three of a kind because you definitely don't play that under the guise of two frailties. But at least you can
yeah,
hold on to the three of a kind and just
yeah. That,
play it another
that is
way.
that is assuming he has a death touch because because you haven't broken the chain after you snaps, right? So
Yeah.
codex would find whatever. I guess he also has a leave no witnesses. That also works quite well
Yeah,
because I
that would
think
be
he
nice
did
too.
have one leave no witnesses.
Yeah,
Uh, it does look like you're gonna have a block on the spider's bite.
that's
So
interesting. Yeah.
I think Glenn is literally playing around CNC
Yeah.
because
Because
here
he.
what he's able to do is block 2 cards with CNC
Oh,
and then ooh
flicking a
he's
knife. Okay.
flicking the peeler.
Yeah.
The peel? No, not the
But
peeler.
the
No,
scalpel.
is it the scalpel? Sorry, I keep thinking
Yeah.
it's the scale peeler. The
The
scalpel has been
potato peeler.
flicked.
Yeah.
So D-reacts are not
Death
as. Oh,
touch.
it is a death
Yeah, you
touch.
called it. Spicy.
I mean, I feel like this is what I would do. So it's just like
You're
it kind of makes sense.
you're in
Like
his mind.
I try, and this is a good one. Now flicking the nerve scalpel is like it's cool and all, but it doesn't
Right.
actually like you got -1 on D-react, so like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
uh
does Lexi really play anything
other
beyond
than tar pit.
Tarpit? Yeah.
I don't
I
think so.
yeah, I haven't seen it unless it's sideboarded specifically into. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not really much you can de-react nowadays. Maybe another Lexi. I don't know. It's
It's
probably
really
not wise.
interesting that he decided to flick here. I'm actually kind of curious why he flicked. He must. Do they have open deck lists in quarters at a calling? I'm not sure. It could be that he has open deck lists and sees 3 tar pits and he's just like trying to play around it. But
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
wouldn't you just do it in reaction to the? Maybe not. Okay. I don't know. There
Mm,
must be some kind of reason. It's just usually when you see that play, you see it like in response
right.
before it resolves, kind of thing. So essentially, you resolve your flick first once you see the reaction, and then you get the -1, and then the D-react resolves, and that gets -1.
I
But
see. I
here,
see.
it's just going to be 2 blocks for the arrows here.
Well, I don't
2,
think
3
was it
block
put in
arrows.
response to Death Touch. I think he death touched and then flicked, or was
You
it
death touch and attack reaction, you flick.
okay?
Essentially, it's an attack reaction. So
Oh,
you
it is
pay.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't
you
sure if
don't
it was
pay,
in
but
addition, if it was in response to Spider's Bite, because it might have been the
no.
Spider's Bite. No, okay.
Was it the spiders? No, I think it was the death. Oh, was it the spiders bite?
Yeah,
It's
because
possible it was
if it
spiders
was
bite.
Spider's Bite, that made more sense that you couldn't just react with Tar Pit Trap. Unless, I mean, unless you want to play
But
it.
you already blocked with the card, so I'm just
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
whatever. He decides to flick. It might be like this was just the time. The chances of you like having enough cards to like dagger do something is less likely
Yeah.
as like when the game like you don't really need to. It
Yeah.
doesn't really provide, especially the nerf scalpel doesn't provide as much utility as that spider's bite as far as blocking
Huh.
cards. Like its
I
arrows
just
block
realized
retreat.
that the cards on Three of a Kind kind of look like the Marvel Codexes.
Cards on. Oh yeah.
The images aren't the same, but I think the
They're
style
not,
is
but
style is
yeah,
similar. That's cool.
that style is similar. Like some foreshadowing going on all the way
Yeah.
back in Arc.
Here's the second. What's that card called?
Heat
Prompt.
Seeker.
Show it. Okay, Heat Seeker. Yeah.
So the pitch here is a little depressing. It's red Arctic, red Withering. So he pitched he used Tunic for three of a kind, probably drew a bunch of reds. Not ideal. Probably needed the blue in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because now he's not really able to fire that withering shot. He has one card in hand. I guess it could be. Like, I don't know what it could be, honestly. Like
It
he has no pitch. He has no pitch
literally
left, so he
has to
can't pay for
be
Voltaire.
Codex, maybe. Oh, there's no
Yeah,
go
it,
again
it
though. I think this is just a vanilla,
no,
not a
it's
vanilla,
just
but a
6.
just 6. So
Yeah, he's Seeker
snapping
plus 1.
this, you can snap this for a Codex maybe, but doesn't seem very strong.
That seems extremely loose. I cannot imagine getting to the top 8 of a calling on Lexi doing stuff
Doing
like
stuff
that.
like
It
that.
just
Okay.
seems real bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Arsenal's
um,
probably the play.
he wants the Heat Seeker just because, essentially, the bluff isn't really worth it at this point. 5 or 6, you have one card in your hand. So, really, what he's trying to do is just try to capitalize on maybe some 2 blocks that he might not want to block with, or just be like,
Yeah.
oh, don't worry about it, because now he's gonna get, oh, he's gonna get the Heat Seeker trigger, so he's
Okay.
gonna get the face-up card,
And
which
it's a
is Bolton
bolted.
Shot.
It might be a blue.
That's pretty. It might be. Can't really see from here, but I
Yeah.
think Bolton's actually like okay. Like it could be worse because then if you have, because we haven't seen a Rain Razor yet, so when
True.
you draw the Rain Razor, it's just like just an arrow, just another arrow that you get to get
It is true.
automatic go again.
You can just play it out for free and then give it the buff for go again as an instant.
Mhm.
So it is quite strong.
Right, and now we do see just this like the thing is this could be
Annoying
anything,
spider's
right?
bite.
Notice how that we're seeing very selective stealth cards. We haven't seen a single isolate yet being played. I don't know if he blocked with any. We saw a bunch of backstabs, blues,
Yeah.
which is
There's
which
one
is
currently
fine.
in the
But
arsenal, I think.
yeah, so
Heat Seeker. Lexi's being very defensive on those spider bites. I noticed. It's interesting.
yeah,
I wouldn't have assumed that.
I think he's playing around CNC. I think he's spooked from the first CNC. Is
Yeah.
my guess.
Yeah.
I don't really blame him, but
It is true.
yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to like afford to do that for the there's the isolate. I think isolate's like standard in pretty much every Uzuri deck. It depends on how many you're running. Some are running 9, some are running 6.
D's dominate. I had to think about that for a minute.
He is dominate. Yeah, he is the dominate. We have looking for a scrap red. Very very good card in Uzuri just because of how many blue stealth cards you can run and automatically proc it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we do have
There's a
the
block
Uzuri
coming in and then
CNC.
swapping it out for a nice CNC. So
So look, he was correct to block that spider's bite after all. But
it's
like
true,
it
but
was
it didn't matter anyway.
played around it. No, I just played around it.
Yeah. Either
Oh,
way,
there's the rain razors.
Oh, he had
he
it.
got the rain. That's tragic.
Uzuri is getting some really good picks today. I mean, that was one 3 of a kind and a Rain Razor now. That's a bit sad for Lexi. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
recover from that. That's a lot to lose.
So you have no three of a kinds. You have two rain. Nah, you have two rain razors. You can still win the game. I mean, Uzuri is still only at 17. The blocking prowess of Uzuri isn't fantastic. There's just Flick Knives
true.
has 1 armor, and that's all you got. Like you only have 1 armor on Uzuri's side,
That's true. Yeah, no boots
and
to
there's no
block.
frailty. Yeah, I don't know how many cards Lexi has, but let's look like a little bit about the game state. 15 to 17 is a bit misleading here. I think Uzuri is effectively you have your arsenal card, you have card advantage.
Yeah,
As far as your actual deck quality, it's just better.
And this
Ooh.
turn. Oh, okay. I mean, Rustling Leaves, interesting.
What did
It
he
is a
get?
codex of.
Amst-
Is that frailty?
Yeah, he missed. It doesn't matter what it was. It just wasn't an arrow, so
Right.
he missed.
Yeah,
essentially.
it didn't matter. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's rough.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit of a sad turn. Kind of just trying to recoup a bit of card advantage there, or not even advantage,
Yeah,
but just to get something playable. After losing your whole arsenal. So I don't
Yeah, the isolate into the CNC is
that's
not
like
what you want to
that's
see on
peak
Lexi's side.
Uzuri, right? That's like what you want because you can't block with 2
Yeah.
cards. You gotta give 1, and then you can't give D-React. So what do you do?
No, it's true.
Yeah. So Uzuri
Uzuri
has all
just
the
likes
tempo, really.
Yeah, Sebastian definitely in the lead here. Don't let the life totals fool you. It's definitely it looks like 2 life, but he is a little bit in the lead.
I would say,
Obviously,
yeah, it's probably effectively more than 2.
Uzuri can brick. It is possible. Like it's not like everything in your
Yeah.
deck is gas.
And
but
it's also
like,
hard for Uzuri to play everything out. Like you
yeah, you only have the 1 dagger. Also,
the 1 dagger. Usually you play like you said, 1 stealth card, swap in a card, and that's like just 3 cards. So having five
Mhm.
cards is tough to play.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think like what Lexi has to do to get back into the game is essentially
Yeah,
what is
overpitching here.
this?
There's a
Yeah, see a
red
red
plus
red and a
surgical.
blue.
Yeah.
Red and a blue, yeah. Okay. So again, this is kind of what we're saying is like very hard to get rid of your entire hand here. So Sebastian still has two cards, of course. Still has snaps up though, so like can always just
Mm,
snap something out. What just like most of his deck is still fine to snaps.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good combo would be something like the Death Touch from Arsenal again. Snaps into whatever, like Leave No Witnesses or something like that would be pretty good.
Yeah, we haven't seen those yet.
Wow, am I
Yellow
am I
death.
good or am I good?
I believe it's yellow. So this was the one card you were touting at the beginning. Oh, they show red on the prompt, but I think this is
That's
yellow.
five.
It's for
No, it
five.
looks
Yeah,
yellow.
it's a five.
I mean, I'm just psychic at this point. Whenever there's a
Yeah.
death touch in there, I could just sixth sense it at this point. They
And
should call me
death
the
touch
death touch
senses.
whisperer.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
me with the little beak. That's just like I should cosplay the death touch guy
It's a
at
good
Worlds. That would be
cosplay.
pretty funny.
Probably
That
do
would be a
well at a
very good
cosplay
cosplay.
convention or a cosplay contest. Win that
Imagine flying
that tailor.
flying all the way to Europe, flying all the way to Europe with like a
I
separate
mean,
bag with your
for
death touch
worlds,
outfit.
why not?
I can think of some reasons,
They'll
but
probably
we
question
do
you at
see
the
a block for
airport.
a five.
They'll
Yeah,
find
a
these
little bit.
skulls in your in your bag.
Yeah, they're not human. Question mark. So we do see a block for five. It is a codex and a hamstring
Yeah,
shot.
the
So
codex that we saw on the top earlier there.
he is doing literally exactly what I said. So is he gonna pop in the Leave No Whispers, or is he just gonna pitch and like CNC him for the third time or something? I
Yeah.
imagine there could be a codex on the horizon too. That's also something I'm kind of expecting. Which would be very, very good. So
Yeah,
we
there's the
do
blood rot.
see
He's giving blood rot, I believe.
Leave No. I'm telling you, I'm in this guy's head here. So the Leave No Witnesses is coming out.
Oh, did Death Touch do
0 for
damage?
4.
No, eh? It doesn't seem like. Oh, there we go. Okay,
Maybe it
it
is
was
red.
delayed. It was delayed. Yeah. Um, or not.
I'm
I
a little
can't tell
confused
because
with the
Death
blood rods
Touch.
coming in here.
Yeah, Death Touch seems to have been blocked fully with the hamstring and the codex, but the
Mm.
life total went down. Uh, I must have missed some. Oh, I'm sorry. The spider's bite probably hit there, which reduced the blocking value of those
Mm.
cards, right?
You're right. It was literally Spider's Bite. Okay.
Yeah.
So he blocked for 4, I
He
think.
blocked for four, took the one from
Because he
spider's
blocked with
bite.
Codex for 2,
Yeah,
Hamstring for 2, took 1, and took 1. So
took
that's
one and
where it's 1 from
one.
Spider's Bite
Blood
and 1 from
rot.
Death Touch, and he got the Blood Rot. Now he's going to take another 2 from the Blood Rot. So
Yeah.
he's going to go down to 11 here. So
Oh
that's
man.
well, that's Spider's Bite, just holy moly. And that's kind of what he could have done, like to force it. He could have flicked it at him if he wanted to, right? 'Cause if you
That's true.
flick at
That's
him
true.
and you can't prevent the damage, that's the effect, right?
Yeah.
I imagine when Sebastian really wants to, he's probably gonna like pitch to Spider's Bite if he blocks, do something, and then maybe flick that Spider's Bite after the fact. Okay, so here we see one of those like double D react.
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
this is kind of the brick that I'm mentioning, right? Like when you are ahead, it feels nice, but you also have to remember you do probably run triple fate, triple sync.
Yeah. Blue
Uh,
backstab here.
yeah, but you do have Uzuri, and Uzuri is good
Yeah.
at hold.
So declare no block, I guess. Just shoving it. Oh, you don't have to declare no. Oh yeah, you declare no block, and then Uzuri comes in with the CNC.
Yeah, and then Uzuri has to resolve, right? So you can D-react before Uzuri resolves, get around CNC and play a D-react, but
Yeah.
the problem is that Backstab disallows that, right? Because Backstab doesn't
Mm.
allow D-reacts on the chain.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
only works with Isolate. So you can like
Right.
decline the block and then in reaction play your D-react from one D-react from hand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then at least you could play the D-react, but you still
Mm.
kind of kind of die
I mean,
to
yeah.
the CSC regardless if you're only blocking 3. But
Yeah.
backstab just like disallows it, and that's kind of why you run the blues as
Yeah.
like your one of your stealth cards with isolate of choice being
Exactly.
your most premium blues.
And you don't care about the damage on the isolate because it's coming
No,
back to your hand anyway, or to your deck, I should say.
your deck,
Yeah.
correct. We do look. It looks like
Cracking
okay.
the
So
bracers.
Glenn with double N here is at 4. He
Thinking
is
about it.
definitely on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there
don't
is potential for some big plays. He has a 4 card hand.
some deviancy. Yeah, like he just had the Winter's Bite in Arsenal. He really didn't have much in there. Now if he wants a 3 arrow hand, he has to bullseye here pretty much, or he can
Mhm.
try his luck with like
With
Bolden
Bolton.
Shot and pray that it actually lands.
It's too
kind of
risky.
thing, right?
I think you just gotta play the bracers. I
If
mean,
you
at
have double
4 health,
Bolden
what kind of
Shot,
opportunities do you have really besides right now?
I think your best case scenario here is probably like Bolton, Codex, Endless, and try to keep going.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
and then you try to snaps Bullseye. Okay, so we do see a Bolton shot. So he is trying to start
It
off with
looks
it.
like
He's giving it +1
yellow.
with the Bullseye.
Okay.
Yeah, yellow because red starts at 4. Yellow starts at 3.
Yeah, there we go.
So
Okay.
it's interesting. It does allow him to not have to pitch. That is the one key.
True.
Like he still has 3 cards in his hand, and he still has Tunic up too. So that is a thing. We do
And he
have Rain
has
Razors
rain.
coming out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Why
Very
did he
nice.
Bullseye? Okay, so he must have. Why did he not
He
just?
might
Okay,
not
we'll
have
think.
wanted to
Oh
pitch.
no.
Tarp
Yeah, he's
frailty
getting
trap.
the frailty trap. Yeah, he's getting the frailty trap. That's doomed.
That's
That's so bad.
unlucky. Very unlucky. Or
Well, because I
lucky for
mentioned it.
Uzuri. Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't see a frailty trap till now. But I mean, it could have done work on some of the other hands. But like here, it's just like extra good.
Mm,
It's bolt shot's still hitting though. It still comes in for 2, right? But
exactly. And I like how they reduced the damage by 1 for the frailty there. Very helpful.
yeah, it's interesting because if
Falcon
you
Wing?
buff it, if he didn't have, it was like Falcon Wing. If
Yeah.
he didn't rain razors, his turn is essentially he has to force snaps because Bolden Shot would not have greater power and it would not have go again, which is interesting.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
if he just bullseyed, he'd kind of be doomed
Ooh,
here.
getting hamstring shot out. Very nice.
How did he get
Okay.
the hamstring? Oh, he just loaded from hand.
He
Okay.
loaded. Well, he pitched for rustling leaves. He pitched a blue.
He didn't use rustling leaves already?
He did, but it whiffed. So I think you keep it.
Oh, it whiffed. It whiffed. Yeah, it
Yeah.
whiffed. Sorry, I forgot that it whiffed for a minute because I remember seeing an
Right.
affecting shot, but that was his pitch, right? Okay,
Yeah, it
so
was the
that's
codex
irrelevant.
that he hit off the top, unfortunately. So
Right,
not a
and
bad
so
turn. Even
this
though
frailty
the
trap
frailty came in, yeah,
is blocking for 6.
it is.
3, 4, 5, 6, right?
It
Like you're,
is.
you're getting a -1, and you negate your rain razors to just being a 0 for 3 instead of a 0 for 6 on a triple
Yeah.
arrow turn.
Yeah.
And Glenn kind of lucked out here because without it, his turn would have been not done, but he would have had to force snaps, which is real awkward. No
Yeah.
Codex of Frailties played yet by Lexi, but we do
Ooh.
see the hamstring shot coming in here because
Yeah.
Sebastian wants to keep his 3-card hand. It looks like.
He does. Makes sense. Lexi once Lexi has to start blocking, her turns are severely weakened, and now you don't have the bracers anymore. You lost 2 rain razors at this point, or was it 3?
Two rain
I think it's
razors.
just
No,
2. Yeah, it's just 2.
I think it's 2. I think he used one and a 1
And
was gone
one
from
was
the
popped.
off CNC. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
you just have the 1 left. He is blocking with yeah. I mean that makes sense. At this point in the game, you're not going to need 2 arsenal slots really.
yep. Another looking for a scrap here. Definitely must have some targets. Just
It's the scalpel.
anything. I guess you could target the scalpel. Yeah, why not? It has 1 power, no?
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
think that's all it looks for, right? Just a 1 power
I
thing.
think so. I kind
In
of
the
want to
grave?
read it again, but
I think it
yeah,
just looks for 1 power. So
likely.
scalpel works. Yep.
Not bad.
5 go again, which is like hashtag lethal. So why
Hashtag
not
lethal.
here? So
Yeah.
coming in for 2,
Searing blocking.
going down to
3.
2. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is
It's
a little.
Oh.
You can't even go to 1 here because of flick.
Right.
Like knives.
Yeah. I mean, this is an okay block because he'll go to 2, right? And so can't flick twice.
Yeah. I mean, you're in unless you can seal blades, then he could
Is
get
that
one of his daggers
is that
back.
a thing in Uzuri? I wonder.
You
Probably.
could concealed blade and onto not off looking for a scrap has to be like an assassin or a ninja card.
Right.
So it looks like he is going to flick that dagger.
Oh, searing.
Oh.
Oh, it's true. Searing only blocks 2 in this case because of the dagger. Oh, but he blocked the dagger, so never mind. It blocks
What he's
3.
do I think what he wants to do here is he wants to, because you're not on the active chain link here. I think he's like potentially. Oh, never mind. I thought he wanted to like
Okay, like
flick
flick in
somehow,
response,
make it hit.
and then
Uh,
lower the defense value of searing shot, like retroactively, I guess.
Would it be off searing shot because it's already blocked? Like you've passed that phase, but it would be
Right,
on this
okay.
E strike. Like if he wants to block this E strike,
I
like
see.
if he wants to prevent high blocking on the E strike, right?
Yeah.
What you would do is you'd flick on the looking to a scrap, and then when you're trying to block the E strike, you'd have the -1 unless you could prevent it.
Right. Okay.
And this is coming in for 7, and there's only 3 cards in hand. So
Well, I mean, a 3 card hand could
Tunic.
block this. It looks like a 2 card hand actually.
There's 2 cards in Tunic, right? But like,
And Tunic. That's true. Yeah. So you could block this out. It seems like that's going to be the play. I think I see a yeah. Okay. Um, infecting
interesting.
plus endless arrow. So
Yeah,
still
because
alive.
the other play you could have done is if you did actually flick it and do the -1, I think Glenn has to give him the whole hand because it'd probably be like a 2/2/2 plus Tunic.
Mm,
Because flick he'd be at 1, and if he's at
right.
1, he can't take anything from the 7. So he'd
Yeah.
block with 3 cards for 6 plus Tunic and just strip his hand.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious if that might have been
A better play.
maybe not. Like it really depends on what his hand was, but he might just want the dagger to just keep swinging. But he would have got Glenn off the frailty here, which is gonna make Sebastian's dagger worth 0 anyways, and
Mm,
give Glenn the ponder. So Codex of Frailty showing why like this one card can just like bring you back into the game,
yeah.
right? Because now it's looking interesting because you're gonna get a 0 for 4 off, which is lethal. He doesn't need to block it, right? Because that'll do 5 damage off the block. You can just block with Flick Knives here, of course, if you wanted to, or you
Sure.
can block with. No, you can't block with Tunics -1. So you have to give him a card or a block,
Or your
right?
flick knives. I would err to say that flick knives is likely a good keep because it presents lethal on one health, right? So you probably
Hmm.
don't want to give that away at this stage of the
Yeah.
game. Unless your
Yeah,
hand's
you
really
just
good and you can kind of guarantee like an Uzuri CNC or something. But
well, there's no CNCs left. He has to
there's no
frailty,
CNCs
right?
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he used one, then frailtied that one, and then used 2 more afterwards.
Right.
One off the isolate, and then one off like attack. Off like maybe looking for a scrap. Yeah, it was a dagger looking to
Mm,
a scrap into CNC.
mm-hmm.
So I think he's used them all at this point. So he
Yeah.
would have to
You're right.
codex it back, which he still has 2 codexes. So
Yeah.
assuming he's on 3, that's a big assumption. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
really
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But we do see this death touch being put into the arsenal off the codex of frailty because why not, right? So
Yeah. It
it's interesting because I think
speeds up playing it.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
there's
not
no
totally
weaknesses.
sure if yeah. So gonna take one. I'm gonna take 2 here. One from the actual damage and one from Searing's effect. Ponder is going to trigger, not Heat Seeker. Don't know why Heat Seeker's on there, but we see Ponder
They
triggering.
look so
And
similar.
I wonder what Tunic is at. Is it at 3?
I don't see a dice on it at all. Actually, he
Okay.
he might have just forgotten to put the dice back.
Okay, well, it looks like he just wants to isolate and win the game off literally anything.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
it?
And the surprise. Oh, it's an Easter egg for 5.
Yeah, I mean, that does it. Like, it comes in for 2.
Yep. That'll be it.
Interesting. Okay, so
I assume
definitely.
just
Is there a
waiting to
D
block,
react?
but
There would literally need to be a D
no, I
react
saw the
here.
hand
Otherwise,
motion. It's
you.
like, nah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That was
So
it.
it's funny because it actually was like ebbed and flowed a bit. It wasn't like a smash by
One-sided?
Uzuri by any means. No, it
Well,
wasn't one sided by any means.
yeah.
I think Lexi like kept having plays to kind of come back into the game, right? I think it just nothing was really working out. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
for Lexi, like the first 3 of a kind off like the 3 card block or whatever it was, and you were able to come back with 3 of a kind from Arsenal.
Right.
It looks like he was able to like double infecting shot, which was pretty reasonable and stuff like that. But his second 3 of a kind drew a whole lot of nothing. I think he didn't even get a blue. Like he just had all
He
reds.
pitched, I think, 2
Uh,
reds to keep going. So yeah, it was a bit of a flop. Yeah.
yeah, and then the third one was just gone off CNC, right?
Yeah.
So, and then one of the Rain Razors was also gone. And
Yeah.
then the other Rain Razors he actually ended up playing, he had a Frailty Trap.
Frailty Trap.
Frailty Trap
Yeah.
in response. So it kind of nothing kind of went right for Lexi there, I think. And then he just straight up whiffed on his first quiver use, right? Like he pitched for literally anything and was trying to come back with an arrow. He ended up Arsenal passing. Like if he actually fires an arrow, depending on Sebastian hand. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made because there were a bunch of hands where Sebastian just had D reacts and ended up just pitching it for daggers.
Yeah,
So
so
like,
he might have been able to block out some of that damage effectively, right, and not have to give too many
mhm.
cards because there was that double sync blow, I think, in his hand. Double sync.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, double sync, sync fate. Later in the game. So and then frailty traps are frailty traps. They still block
Yeah.
for 3, right? Um, so I think that that was like on the Lexi side. I don't know how much he did wrong. I don't know why he bullseye. I guess you can bullseye the Bolton shot. I think it was a bit of a desperation play there. Did
Mm,
he not have the pitch for it? I don't remember what exactly he did there. I think he bullseyed the Bolton shot. He had Tunic up, and then came in for 4 and had the Rain Razors anyways. Now, if you had the Rain Razors anyways, I'm not sure if that's the best use for best use for bullseye, because generally what you want to do with bullseye is like the best case scenario is if you have a zero cost arrow
hmm
in your hand. That's all you have in your hand, and what you're able to do is literally just bullseye, get +1 on like a 0 for 4, make it 0 for 5, and you're just coming in with 0 for 5 with one card without having to load it, right? Like that's the real strength of bullseye bracer, or on the endless turn, right? You're able to like
Yeah,
snaps bullseye and get another fire off,
true.
or the first thing I mentioned where you're bullseyeing to get an arrow in the arsenal, flip it with Lexi, and then you have a blue and 2 more arrows, which didn't seem to be the case because I think he had a red in hand, is what he ended up pitching later on in that turn. So didn't have the blue, a little bit unfortunate. Maybe let's go back to that. Let's go back to that turn. Try to figure out what was going on, because I think that was kind of like the pivotal turn where he still had the hand, right?
Let's
So I think it
see.
was like he was, yeah, it was right here,
It was that one, right? With
right?
the yeah, this was
Yeah,
right
it was
here.
this hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so let's go a little bit further up here. So
Yep.
let's okay, so we have the Bolton shot. The bullseye bracers was used. The Bolton shot was coming in for
I
4
think it
and
was
then
for
pumped to
4 to
6,
6.
right?
Yeah.
And then the frailty makes it 5.
Yep.
Uh 4 to 6. Yeah. Plus 2 from rain, +1 for bullseye, and then the frailty makes it -1. So it goes from 3 to 5 to 6 to 5,
Yep.
essentially. So it looks like he takes 2 from that, right? Because you're blocking 3 on that. And then you
hmm
have this Falcon Wing, right? And because the Bolton shot hit, he put the Falcon Wing in arsenal, fired it off, has go again anyways, and that's coming in for 4
Correct. It
because of +2
would
-1.
have been 5. Yes, I think it was
Would have been 5.
3 plus 2 minus 1.
Yeah, because it's a 0 for 3, right? And it's
Yeah.
base. You need a name. You would need a name counter to make it a 0 for 4, but no name
Exactly.
counter in sight here. So
No.
coming in for 4, and then let's play it from here. Let's see what else he had in his hand, just to make sure we're not giving this guy a best. So he has one card in hand.
Yeah. I
Looks
mean,
like we're gonna see
so I
there's
mean,
no
just to
blocks to
pause here
this.
for a sec, I think it makes a lot of sense that he didn't want to use Voltaire to load Bolton shot here,
Mhm.
because he wanted to guarantee playing 3 arrows out. I think if he had Voltaired, he wouldn't be able to get this final arrow out, just due to pitch restrictions, I think.
I mean, he would have still had
Oh,
Bolton.
although, okay, I'm wrong. He did pitch for the Rustling Leaves, actually, not for Voltaire. So that's what happened. Okay.
Okay.
So he had a blue in
We got
hand. Hmm.
you got the hamstring shot off. Okay.
Yeah, so,
So
okay. Okay. I think he just went for like a Hail Mary play. It was like, I can pitch this blue to not waste my bracers, but at the
yeah,
same time, by
and then
doing
you
that, he
have
actually
Tunic.
got it. He got
Yeah.
an extra. He got the hamstring shot out of it.
Yeah, you really do need to get like a premium arrow with that quiver, or you just kind of are
Right.
doomed, I
Yeah.
think,
So
because
I.
otherwise you're wasting
Yeah.
uh +1 +1, right, of Voltaire. And well, so not the first +1 you're getting regardless because you
Because
bullseye, but
of
you're missing
bullseye.
the second +1. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're missing that, and you lose your bullseye, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's mainly just like a conservative play versus like a non-conservative play. I guess it really just depends on what he is trying to kind of accomplish here, right? If you want to maximize the damage. So this was a fine play, a little bit riskier, but at this point, I think he kind of has to do that.
Yeah. At four
I think
health,
if this was,
you gotta take
yeah,
some risks to get back in the game. So that was a good move.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think there was like any particular misplays on like the Lexi side. I think it was pretty reasonable based on like what he had.
Yeah, and no
And
endless arrows were played. I think that's a little key also, because
I think
that's
he
how
blocked
Lexi
early with
gets.
one.
He blocked early with one, and he blocked again. So I think we saw 2 that were blocked with. So
Mm,
it's a little unlucky because he needed to use that alongside maybe 3 of a kind or rain razors to really get out a lot of value from it. It just didn't do
sure.
work. So unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's reasonable. I think it was a good gameplay by by both these players, obviously
Mm,
topping
it was still
calling.
close, like 4-3 at the end, or sorry, 0-3 at the end, something like that.
That's 0-3. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think one or two breaks from Lexi could have just like broken the game the other
yeah,
way, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Sebastian seemed to get his CNCs fairly early, naturally. Like he only
It
he only codexed one of
coincided
them,
with
right?
the three of a kinds actually pretty perfectly. It was like
And the Rain
three of a
Razor,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was just very good timing for Uzuri. Not much Lexi could
Mhm.
have done to really combat that. I think it was just a little unlucky.
Yeah. No, that was about it. Good game played by both players. And with that, if you like this kind of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, from wherever you're watching in the world, have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Bye for now.